Hi, this is Jenny of Clift Coaching, and in this video I want to talk to you about the subject of marketing. Now, this is a subject that most people who I talk to then experience a lot of resistance, a lot of fear and self-doubt, and yet we all know that we need to do it, that it's important if we have a product or a service to be able to put ourselves out there somehow. So in just a moment, we're going to walk through a short process which will really clarify for you the kind of emotions, feelings and thoughts that come up for you around this subject. And then after that, we're going to use a technique called tapping, which will help to calm the nervous system so that by the end of the video, hopefully you'll be feeling a lot more open to the whole idea of marketing yourself and much more ready to take the steps that you need to take. So just to tune in to this subject, here are just a few questions for you. Do you struggle with marketing your business, your product, maybe your book if you're an author, or your services, or even yourself if you're a coach or a performer? How do you feel about marketing in general, other people's marketing? Do you feel positive about it, or is there some icky factor? What kind of emotions, feelings and thoughts does the whole subject bring up? And how much is this costing you now? And in the past, how much has it cost you, and how much will it cost you in the future? The thing is, we all know we have to market ourselves. We even know a bit about how to, because most of us have books or courses, and yet we procrastinate, we avoid the whole marketing piece of our businesses for as long as possible. So in this video, I want to keep exploring just what is going on inside of us, which keeps us stuck when it comes to marketing. We're going to see and feel that there's a huge mind-body component to this whole puzzle. We don't just think about marketing, we really feel it in a sort of physical, visceral way. And it's a reaction that can be incredibly intense. So we use a mind-body tool, tapping, as I mentioned, or it's also known as emotional freedom techniques. And this tool, this has been scientifically proven to calm the nervous system, to reduce the stress hormone called cortisol in our bodies. It's been used with returning servicemen in the US, many of them suffering from PTSD, and it's becoming increasingly popular with athletes, performers, public speakers, and to help all kinds of phobias, addictions, and physical stress-related conditions. Just before we get started, just one last word about the nature of this work, because the kind of ideas, programming that we have around these things are probably, well, they very often come from way back. Sometimes this kind of thing can trigger fairly uncomfortable emotions. So if you're feeling not so great, just stick with it. Keep with the process. The only caveat I would say to that is that if you know that you've got some really toxic stuff buried underneath there, well, maybe you'd be better off waiting to talk to when you've got a friend around, or even with a practitioner. Okay, so now let's move on to the process, which I call a triggerization, because this is a visualization which is going to trigger stuff in you. You're going to need somewhere to write, or pen and paper, or a device, somewhere to note down your thoughts when we've done the visualization. So if you haven't got that handy, just pause, and then when you're ready, you can start the video again. So just sitting in a chair, I want you first to close your eyes and just take a couple of deep breaths. This will help you get centered and really into your body. So we're breathing in slowly and breathing out. And once again, a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Just feel your feet on the floor and your body in the chair or where you're sitting, and relax your tongue on the floor of your mouth. And now I want you to imagine yourself on a stage, and you're beautifully dressed, and there's an audience there, maybe 50, maybe even 100 people. And you start to look at the people in the audience, and you see people who you know. Your parents are there, maybe, old teachers from when you were young, school friends, and other peers from school and from college, work colleagues, maybe your boss or old bosses, and your perfect future clients or customers, they're there too. And you start to talk about your business or your product or your service. You explaining who you are, what you do, what your goals are, who you are targeting. You're telling people of all the things that you want to do with your business, and you're proudly telling them just how successful you are and your big goals and your dreams for the future. So just think about how you feel. What main emotions come up? How do you feel physically as well? And what kind of thoughts come into your head? What do you think the people in the audience are thinking as well? Are they saying anything? Are they maybe turning away? Or how do they look? How are they reacting? And is this reminding you of anything that happened in your past? Now I want you to pause the video and just write down anything that came up for you. All right? Very often people talk about feeling ashamed or frightened. They don't want to talk about themselves, especially they don't want to talk about their dreams and and what they want for their career in the future. And they're scared that the audience are going to turn away from them or laugh at them or criticize them or in some way be angry with them. These are the kind of things that I often hear. So I want you to write down your feelings and maybe even rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. So 1 being nothing there and 10 being very intense. So now we're going to do some tapping to help calm down some of these feelings and clear them out of our body. Our body, when we have these kind of reactions, our body tends to go into fight or flight mode. And this is very typical with marketing. So this technique, it involves, we're going to take 2 fingers and we're going to tap on different points. And these correspond to the points that they use in acupuncture. And just tapping on these different points is going to calm down the nervous system, and you'll find that you start to feel better. And at the same time, we're going to be talking, well, venting really. There's so many times that we don't really talk about these things. We don't talk about these feelings. And so we get a chance to voice how we're feeling, but at the same time we're tapping. So we're going to be clearing at the same time. So starting on the side of the hand, even though I have this horror of marketing, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I have this horror of marketing, I love and honor myself anyway. Even though I have this horror of marketing, even just saying the word brings me out in goosebumps. So many things come into my head when I think about marketing myself. So many uncomfortable thoughts and emotions. And even though I have this horror of marketing, I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself and anyone else who might be involved in this. This horror of marketing. This horror of marketing. Marketing's okay for other people. Fine for other people to market themselves. Although some of them I find a bit obnoxious. Those ones who are so pushy, obviously so pleased with themselves. That's how I'm gonna look. So pleased with myself. I'll be tooting my own horn like I'm showing off. That's how some people look. And what about all the fear of the criticism? The judgment. After all, I judge the ones I don't like. People will start seeing me, and I know they're going to judge me. It's much safer to stay invisible. Much safer to stay under the radar, where no one can take a shot at me. All this danger of becoming more visible. Putting myself out there and marketing myself. That's becoming visible, big time. And I'll have to be doing all kinds of things that I really don't feel comfortable doing. Like setting up a website and public speaking and pricing my services. Oh my God. What if I charge too much and no one wants to pay me that much? What if I charge too little and I get burned out and resentful? Well, this is just too awful to think about. I'm never going to get this right. And if I do market myself successfully, other people will be jealous of me. Other people won't like me. They'll criticize me. They'll say, "Who do you think you are?" They'll say, "I'm getting too big for my boots." All these things that I've heard from parents, from teachers, from my peers, all this shaming and anger and put downs. All these things that I don't want to risk hearing again. And oh my goodness, what about all the technical stuff? All these technical terms bring up so much anxiety. Autoresponders, avatars, website traffic, marketing funnels, marketing machines. It all sounds so inhuman. And I am human. Above all, I am human. And I want to connect with people. And doing it this way, it just feels so inhuman. It feels like I'm going to manipulate people into going into my system. And somehow I'll be cheating them or deceiving them I just want to do it a different way. I don't want to have to be a marketer. It's just not me. I want to leave it up to somebody else. But another part of me knows that this is how it's done. I've got to get myself out there somehow. Or I'm never going to get anyone to know about me. And what I can offer to be of service to this world. And I really want to be of service in this lifetime. All this fear of how marketing is done. But I don't have another better idea right now. So maybe I've just got to get used to the idea. And clear all my fears around marketing. Maybe I could start by thinking about people who market in a way that I do like, that I enjoy and appreciate. I like marketing with humour, marketing which seems sympathetic to me, that says what was in my head already, that seems to address my problems, without manipulating or scaring me into buying the product. Just telling me the kind of product someone has and informing me of what's on offer, without any kind of cajoling or forcing me in any way. That's the kind of marketing I like. Maybe I could do it that way. Maybe there is a way that I could make this feel good for me. I'm clearing all these fears. All these fears that I'm going to do it badly. I'm so afraid that it won't be perfect. My website will be a mess. My copywriting won't be convincing enough. I don't even know how to spell copywriting. I don't know what prices to charge. And all these fears. That there are so many other people out there who are doing it so much better than me, who deserve business and clients so much more than me. What room is there for me? There's not space for little old me. This fear that there's not space for me. And that makes me feel sad too. All these feelings. Just the word marketing. 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 Clearing my fear of the word marketing. If I say it enough times, it'll sound less scary. Maybe it'll sound less intimidating. All this intimidation I feel around the word marketing. I'm choosing to feel a little bit more comfortable about it. I'm choosing to look into it a bit so that it becomes less scary, less threatening, less foreign, less like a foreign language which I don't understand and which I can't relate to, which other people understand, but I can't get my head around. But I've got my head around a lot of things in the past. I know that I can learn new things. So maybe if I just get more familiar with marketing, little by little, without pushing it, but without quitting as well, maybe I'll feel better about it. I'm choosing to honour my feelings, all my emotions, all the fear that comes up, all this fear that I'll be too proud of myself. You know what they say, pride comes before a fall. All this fear that I'm going to have a fall, that this will lead to a fall. I'm letting go of that fear. Letting go of it and of other fears and doubts, so that I can start marketing my own business without feeling so afraid and ashamed and uncomfortable, so that I can share with the world the things that a deep part of me really longs to share. Releasing this fear of marketing and choosing to feel really good about myself for even approaching the subject. Choosing to feel confident about myself, choosing to start believing in myself, and choosing to feel really good in body, mind, and spirit. So just stop tapping and take a deep breath. And now I want you to rate once again on a scale of 1 to 10. Just think about the different emotions that came up for you at the beginning and how strong they're feeling now. And normally people feel better by the end of a tapping round. It's come down a little bit. If it was at a 10 before the fear, it's come down maybe to 9 or maybe to 0. If it hasn't, often that means that other things, more aspects have come up. You've started thinking more deeply about it, and so even more things have come up. And in which case I would encourage you to go back and tap again and then see how you're feeling. So now I hope you're feeling calmer and more open to the idea of marketing yourself and more optimistic about it. Many people find that after tapping, then different ideas start to come into their heads. They're more open to opportunities and inspiration, and that's great. So if this video struck a chord with you and you're interested in maybe going a little further, I'm offering a free 1-hour call with me, a Clarity Strategy Action call. And I will leave my contact details in the description box below, and by all means get in touch with me. And at the end of that call, I would be talking to you, giving you some tips and talking to you about the possibility or the opportunity for working a little bit further with me. So I'd love to hear from you also in the comments below, any thoughts or questions. Of course, if you like the video, I'd love you to put a like and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video.